Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie, and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. Now, I'm actually just about to start my members live, but I had to come on because there's breaking news coming out of Buckingham Palace that Prince Andrew, well, Andrew, as he should be known from now on. I mean, anyway, so he's going to be stripped of all these royal titles. I mean, honestly, this woman, Virginia, who unfortunately isn't around to see this all happening, because she actually took her own life, didn't she, earlier this year? But she really, it's a shame because, she's been vindicated, hasn't she? I feel like quite emotional, really. But so he's to lose his prince title now as well. Now it'd already been decided, hadn't it, that he wouldn't use anymore his other royal titles, although not that he was being stripped of them, just that he wasn't supposed to use them anymore. But he would keep, it was said that he would keep the title of prince, because that is something that was bestowed on him just for the fact he is the queen, not the Shamilla queen, the queen's son, Queen Elizabeth II. It was said that they could not strip him of the prince title because that was his birthright. Well, they can, apparently, and they're going to. And thank God for that. But do you know what? I just wanted to come on and say, hi, Dry Spell. Oh, this is not members. Oh, yeah, you did get a membership. Sorry, yes, you did get a membership on the other one, yeah. I'm getting mixed up now. I was all ready for my members live, and then this news came through, and I just had to say anything. Hi, Blue. Hi, Pauline. Yeah, even Edward kept his titles. This is a real acknowledgement of his wrongdoing, isn't it? But not only that, don't you? I really do feel he's getting thrown under the bus a little bit. Like, obviously the things he did were bad, and the problem that Andrew's always had, it's not only what he did, it's the lies that he's told, how he's tried to cover it up, how he's not been able to acknowledge any empathy for Virginia or any of the other victims. That awful interview that he did with Emily Maitlis. It's all these things, and it makes you wonder as well, is there more about to come out? Because this is like dramatic, isn't it? I mean, really dramatic. It was dramatic enough when they said he was not going to be able to use his sort of Duke of York titles and things like that. But if you just feel there it's like an there's more to come out. And do you know how it feels to me? It feels like it's the royal family struggling for their own survival. Because what I've noticed, I've never been a monarchist, never, ever since I was young. I've always been, and I don't know why really, because I think my parents were monarchists because they were from that sort of generation, that just were. They thought, I remember when the Queen came to Manchester when I was a kid, and we went to try and get a glimpse of her going past in her limousine or whatever. I can vaguely remember it. I don't even know what year that was or how old I was, but it was all excitement, that the Queen was coming to Manchester, etc. So I'm not sure why I've never been a monarchist, to be honest, but I haven't been. But, it's just like, and I think Diana changed me a little bit. Princess Diana, she was a different sort of monarch, wasn't she? Well, she wasn't a monarch, but she was, different kind of person in the royal family, and she you know, I remember, you know, there was that sort of, to me, that was like a golden age for the royal family. With those marriages, Charles marrying Diana, which when I look back on it now, she was so young and he was so much older than her. It was terrible, really. But, you know, we just didn't think about those things so much as they do now. I think the royal family have become victims of the different way we look at things now. You know, that we look at things completely differently now. And then, of course, Andrew married Fergie, and that was all happy and everything. You know, you get these sort of periods that the royal family go through. Weddings always sort of seem to cheer people up and, you know, make people like the royal family a bit more. And of course, Diana and Fergie at the time, she might not be popular now, but she was popular at the time. And, you know, good friend of Diana's, and they brought this sort of zest to the royal family, etc. Then, of course, it all went wrong, and Charles treated Diana terribly, and Fergie and Andrew's marriage barely lasted a couple of years, did it? You know, and it all went wrong. It all went wrong. So, you know, High Angel. So I honestly, what of note? So I've always been a Republican. I've always been anti the royal family, if you like. Apart from sort of brief spell where, you know, I thought that, you know, I liked Diana particularly. And then, of course, what happened to Diana just made me hate the royal family even more, and the way they treated her. And, you know, they treat everyone like that. You know, a lot of people don't like Harry and Meghan, but you can see why they left, really, can't you? This is what they're dealing with. This is the family that they were dealing with. Meghan probably couldn't wait to get out of there. You know, like her or not, she just didn't like it, just like Diana didn't like it. And unfortunately for Diana, she died. She got out of it in a way, but she died, didn't she? And of course, it's left all these conspiracy theories. You know, was she pregnant, you know, to a Muslim guy? Because Dodi Fayed, you know, she was in love with at the time, who also died when she died in that car crash. He, of course, was the son of the Harrods guy, who's recently been a load of, you know, since he died, all the scandal about him. Could you imagine if Diana was still alive and she was married to Dodi? It's just one scandal after another, isn't it? You know, absolutely one scandal after another with this family. And anyway, so as I say, I've always been an anti-monarchist, but I have noticed lately, gosh, that it's been so openly spoken about that it literally might be the end of the royal family. You know, and to someone like me, because I never thought I would ever see that in my lifetime. You know, as old as I am now, but I don't know. Maybe it is going to happen, because I feel like this is a last ditch effort to sort of blame everything on Andrew. I mean, let's not forget this family. They've been consorting with paedophiles forever. You know, some of the family, like Louis Mountbatten, was a PDF. You know, all these things that have been brushed under the carpet for so long. Of course, now with social media, and you know, they can't brush things under the carpet, and people have been speaking openly, not only on social media but on mainstream media, about you know, about, what's the word? People are speaking openly about the demise of the royal family, and you know, they do look ridiculous. You know, they need to either completely modernize, like, you know, some of the other European royal families, like the Spanish royal family, are so different, you know, from this royal family. All this pretension, the big castles, the big thrones, the golden carriages, the big crowns and the scepters. You know, like, it's like we're living back in the dark ages. People won't put up with that now. Hi, Lily. Yeah, but even Catherine, she's getting a lot of stick, isn't she? There's because they're saying, you know, this about her cancer journey. It wasn't as bad as she said. I'm just telling you what has been all over the social media. She was off on holiday skiing and all this sort of thing. People are starting to criticise not only Andrew, but Charles, Shamilla, um, Willie, and even Catherine. Catherine's escaped a lot of criticism, hasn't she? You know, I think Catherine's sort of the last one that maybe people think is okay. You know, William always looks as miserable as sin to me. Honestly, he always looks like he's got the world on his shoulders, and he probably has, because there's so many deep secrets. I just think, you know, it makes me wonder if Andrew and Fergie, you know, are they going to tell their story? I bloody hope so. I hope they, you can imagine this war of the royals breaking out. You know, that he's going to say, right, oh, if he can't call himself prince anymore and he's got to move out of the royal, this is the Royal Lodge. When you say the Royal Lodge, like, you imagine this sort of extension, don't you? That is the Royal Lodge. That's where he's been living. And it's not only him who, you know how many homes the royal family have got? For fuck's sake, you know, and they're paid for by you. If you're living in Britain and you're paying tax, you're paying for it. For him to live in luxury, and not only him, all of them. Anyway, so of course he was moaning when he was first told that he had to move out of there. He lives there with Fergie, and then he was asking for 2 homes, one for him, one for Fergie, for some unknown reason. You know, and the thing is, people aren't going to feel sympathetic about that. Some people haven't even got a home, not even a roof over their head. Never mind a place like that, and all the staff it takes to upkeep. And this is just Andrew. There's a lot of the rest of the royal family, isn't there? You know, that everybody's paying for as well. So apparently, this is the Buckingham Palace statement. Prince Andrew will lose his title and move out of Royal Lodge. I mean, this is big news, isn't it? A statement from Buckingham Palace says he will now be known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Oh, well, that's a really good name, isn't it? Lord Mountbatten. He was the other PDF in this family. So we can now bring you the full statement from Buckingham Palace. His Majesty has today initiated a formal process to remove the style, titles and honours of Prince Andrew. His lease on Royal Lodge has to date provided him with legal protection to continue in residence. Formal notice has now been served to surrender the lease, and he will move to alternative private accommodation. Now, you can bet that's not going to be, you know, a council flat in Brick Lane or whatever. That's going to be, you know, they'll make it seem like, you know, he's taking a hit, you know what I mean? But he will still be moving to some fantastic place to live. These censures are deemed necessary, notwithstanding the fact that he continues to deny the allegations against him. Their majesties, I mean, even that expression, they're not majesties. It's Charlie Boy and Shamilla, they're people. They're people just like you're a person and I'm a person. I would never call someone majesty, your majesty. Because you know what, as well, if you believe in God, you know, you're not supposed to make false idols. Or, you know, how building up these people and giving them these titles like, oh, your majesty, and bowing to them and scraping. This is from the dark ages. It's not in a modern world. That is not how it should be. They look ridiculous in their crowns. They look totally ridiculous, sat in their on their thrones or riding in their silly gold carriage. Remember Donald Trump going around the garden in it? You know, it's like, you know, when King Juan Carlos abdicated here in Spain, and his son Felipe took over, and he went into exile, Juan Carlos, because he was corrupt. I mean, you know, they say absolute power corrupts absolutely, doesn't it? Money is. He started off as like the nation's sweetheart, and then now he's a pariah. He can't even come back to his own country to die. But when he abdicated and King Felipe took over, his son, do you know what their ceremony was? Literally, he took off a belt, like a belt thing, a sash, handed it over to his son, and his son put it on, and that was it. That was the coronation. It wasn't like this great big, you know, costly thing. You know, Charles said he was going to have a low-key coronation, and then he had a new carriage, gold carriage made. You know, the man who tells us all to live a simple life. You know, we don't have a choice but to live a simple life. You know, it's not God. It's not, you know, even if you wanted to, you couldn't go out and have a gold carriage made tomorrow to take you to work. You know, it's like, yeah, live a simple life. Well, you know, we are living a simple life because we can't afford to do anything else. Thank you, Charlie. Yeah, so it's just ridiculous the way this royal family are like, I don't know, coming out with all their medals and like Idi Amin or bloody Gaddafi or whatever. Just ridiculous. I've always thought it, but it seems even more ridiculous now because we live in a different world now, don't we? I mean, and you know, some things are better and some things are worse. And I think one thing that's better is we don't look at, well, I don't. And I think a lot of people, even people who supported the royal family before, they don't look on them as gods anymore, like, you know, God's divine right to rule and all that rubbish. So I think that is a good thing that's come from social media, things like that. So, and then look at the end, their majesties wish to make clear their thoughts and utmost sympathies have been and will remain with the victims and survivors of any and all forms of abuse. Now, isn't that the first time that they've sympathised? Hi, David. So, yeah, I'm supposed to be on the members live. Hi, Paul. Yeah, Nelson Mandela Fletcher Becker. Oh, dear me. Have they ever expressed any sympathy towards the victims before? I don't think they have. So don't you think this just smacks of desperation? It's like the royal family's going down the toilet, thank you God. And they're trying their very best to cling on to power. And Andrew will be the scapegoat. But what if Andrew or Fergie or both of them think, hang on a minute, I'm not taking all the stick, because they know where the bodies are buried as well, don't they? You can bet that Andrew and Fergie know quite a lot about the rest of the royal family. You know, at the end of the day, they're all human beings. They've all got their bloody skeletons in the cupboard, haven't they? You know, so yeah, what's going to happen to all the teddies? I don't know. Oh, dear me. Yeah, they stopped making the crown. Oh, I hope they carry on. What they're going to do with the crown? I mean, they should carry on. You know, it'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Honestly, I'm sort of in shock, really, because I really never thought, even though I would like it, I never really thought that I would see the end of the royal family in my lifetime. But I don't know now. I literally do not know now. Let's have a look what Sky News are saying. I mean, let's have a look. They've got, might have to watch. Oh,
They
sorry.
will remain loyal to their parents. Sarah Ferguson, I don't know where she's going to go. I've always thought that they would go hand in hand into whichever oblivion they were going into. But it seems that there are reports that she wants to go her own way, or they want to go their own way. I don't know. But look, they're grown people. They're grown-ups. They have plenty of money by any normal standards. And they should be able to stand on their own 2 feet.
I think this funeral had a lot to do with it as well, because there was Andrew, not just, hovering at the back. I mean, it's a family member of his that has died. He has the right to go to the funeral, of course. But he was right there at the front, wasn't he? And he was making jokes with Prince William. He was like, instead of just keeping a low profile, this man doesn't know how to keep a low profile. This is what makes me wonder what's going to happen now. I mean, I almost worry about him, almost, because you think, God, is he going to do something to himself because he's lost everything? He's such a pompous, priggish, full of himself man, and he's lost everything that makes him feel important. What will he do?
I mean, Andrew really shouldn't need his big brother to look after him financially or in any other way, and neither should Sarah expect that her ex-brother-in-law should fund her way of life.
Yeah, so that where it was showing you then at the funeral. Remember, he tried to say something to William, make a bloody joke, for God's sake. Why didn't he just stay out of the way at the back? And, keep a low profile. He just doesn't know how to keep a low profile, does he? And he just had this sort of brief conversation with William, and William sort of blanked him. But then I think William did say something to him. He sort of covered his mouth and he probably said, just fuck off and don't speak to me in public. Something along those lines. I'm sure it was more polite than that. But there was Andrew, and now he's there like a little boy who's been chastised.
I guess that some would argue it'd be pretty tricky for them to go out and get normal jobs.
Yes, probably would be, but I cannot imagine they don't have the funds to manage some kind of existence they don't need vast mansions, do they? They can just have, 4 or 5 bedroom, 2 bedrooms houses, actually, probably would be fine.
Yeah, why can't he live in a 2-bedroomed house? Well, there's only him anyway, isn't there? I don't think the daughters live with him. And if Fergie decides she's going to go her own way, why can't he just live in a 1-bedroom flat? But listen, the thing is, Andrew has got money in his own right. If you call it in his own right, I mean, you could argue that none of the royal money is theirs. So the Queen, obviously his mother left him. I mean, she'll probably be spinning in a grave, bless her, because she, he was her favourite son, wasn't he? But, she bailed him out so many times. Now, he's got lots of money because he was left money by the Queen. But that money isn't, to me, you sort of look at that money and you think, whose money is that? Isn't that the British taxpayers' money? They make money all the time over, and massive amounts of money. The difference between the rich and poor in Britain, the gulf. It is a gulf, isn't it? Only 5% of the population have all the money in Britain or something like that. I don't know what the exact figures are. I'm going to look it up. But hi, Julie. Give him a house in Gaza. Yeah. Hi, Shay. Yeah, it's since the Queen died, everything's gone just weird, isn't it? Well, it was yeah, everyone's waiting for the members. Sorry, I'm going to finish in a minute because I will come on again in the morning because there'll be more details in the morning about this. I just had to come on and talk about it because I mean, it's a big thing, isn't it? It's a big, big thing. It's a massive thing to anyone. You know, it's a good thing, I think, to be honest. But it's a massive thing. Massive thing.
I've said publicly before, perhaps Andrew, who will get £500,000 under the terms of the Crown Estate lease in reparation for the money he shelled out for the renovation of Royal Lodge. I mean, £500,000, that might buy you a little place in Woking, for example, you know.
£500,000 added to all the other money he's got that Queenie left him or whatever. I mean, he's not short of money, is he? He's not short of money. Anyway, he can get a job, can't he? He can get a job, you know, like anybody else has to work for a living. You know, why shouldn't he work for a living? Or he could go on income support. I don't know. But, you know, it's crackers, isn't it? And, you know, did he get child benefit for his children? Because, you know, child benefit is universal. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Do the royal family claim their child benefit? Now, I don't know, you know, because everybody gets child benefit, don't they, in the UK? Everybody. And you can refuse to take it. Some, stop. Tim, come here. Some rich people over the years have given back their child benefit book because obviously if they didn't need it, but a lot of them, they take it. I bet Michelle Mone took her child benefit when she was, when her kids were young. I bet, you know, a lot of these rich people take their child benefit. It's terrible, really, isn't it? That's the problem with universal benefits. Unless people are sort of noble enough to actually say, hey, hang on, I don't need this child benefit. You know, give it to someone who does need it. They will have got it, won't they? I'd like to know if they claimed it.
Nice line in pizzas there, so who knows?
Being mischievous. We like it though. Jenny Bond, thank you very much for joining us. Well, if you're just tuning in, let's just remind you.
Is there an earnings limit now? Right, okay. Never used to be, did there? Because I always remember, hi BF, I always remember, oh God, who was the guy? Jeremy somebody who used to be on that program where they would prank people. Jeremy Beadle, was it? Jeremy Beadle? Maybe I'm thinking of. He gave his child benefit back. I remember that. Yeah, he could get a job working at Pizza Hut. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely used to be, it used to be universal, but obviously it's changed then. I don't know. So, but thanks for telling me that because I didn't know. I know because they limit, yeah, that's it. Jeremy Beadle, yeah. They limit the number of children now, aren't they? There never used to be a limit to the number of children, of course. Yeah, but do you know what you can do, Julie? You can pick up the dog poo. You know, because he had somebody work. They've got somebody working for them, haven't they? At this, at the Royal Lodge, at the lodge, the sort of the great big mansion where they live. They've got a couple who go around picking up the dog poo. Maybe Andrew could do that if he's a bit hard up for cash. Maybe he could pick up the dog poo himself and claim the money himself. Anyway, so I came on to tell you that I've got to go because it's Members Live and I've got not got much time to do the Members Live because I will be watching Celebrity Traitors. Oh, maybe Andrew will go on like I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here and Celebrity Traitors and things like that. So, because so anyway, I think it'd be interesting the celebrity members because I'm going to anyway say I've got a Halloween video to play and like to just let people know what I'll be doing tomorrow for Halloween. Wonder what Andrew will be doing for Halloween. He's like the guy, Brian Epstein. I quite often call him Brian. Jeffrey Epstein, he's like the ghost of Christmas past. That's what I've been calling him. He'd be dressing up, but we should dress up as Epstein tomorrow. So this man could have brought down the monarchy. And this woman, of course, brave Virginia, because I'm so sad. I'm so sad that she's not here to see it all happen. Remember the man who doesn't sweat? I don't sweat. It's just something I've got to say is I can't sweat. No, obviously not, Andrew. You know, the thing is, Andrew just took us all for fools. And even Queenie, you know, there they are at her at Balmoral and what have you, you know, and they went to her parties and as well. She loved this guy. Do you know what I mean? Even Queenie, she's not, the royal family have always been associated with PDFs. Jimmy Savile, knighted. They covered up for their own family, for Lord Mountbatten. There's Andrew with him. Did it, you know, Andrew supposedly suffered sex abuse himself. Was it by Mountbatten? Who knows? And then you've got, sitting on the thrones. You know, so it's not only Andrew, is it? But Andrew's been thrown under the bus. He's going to be the scapegoat. But I wonder if he will. I wonder if he will tell all. Could you imagine seeing him and I'm a celebrity, get me out of here? It's like, you know, when they come up with, when they show them at the beginning, they put underneath what they are. You know, it's like the man formerly known as Prince. Oh dear. Okay, I'm going. Well, look, I will be back tomorrow talking about this 100%. And, you know, we'll talk about it more tomorrow and more will have come out and maybe Andrew will make a statement. Or I don't know. I think, I just get the impression that Andrew's sort of tied up with a gag over his mouth somewhere, you know, in the cellar. It's like, you know, being sort of, or maybe he's in the tower, you know, or something. Andrew's not allowed to say anything, is he? Yeah. Oh, Moonbeam. Listen, I'm going over to the members live now. So, oh, Heather, I'm coming over now. It was just this breaking news. I'm on my way. I'll see you on the other side. And until I see you again, may your God go with you. Bye.